The Fortnite World Cup finals ended yesterday at Arthur Ashe Stadium here in New York City. Pennsylvania's 16-year-old Kyle Bugha Giersdorf, Bugha being the name that he plays under, he won $3 million. That's the first prize in the solo tournament.
That's right. $30 million in prizes were handed out. In total, more than 2 million people tuned in to watch the world's best gamers compete for the top prize. So with us now is Dan Ackerman. He's the senior managing editor at CNET. What's up?
I was actually there yesterday.
You were there.
In person.
So what's really fascinating about this is how the rise of e-gaming and e-gaming tournaments has happened over the course of the last couple of years. I did a story where we actually went to one of those tournaments. We talked to coaches. These gamers have coaches. Okay. First of all, for people who don't have kids or who are not gamers, what is Fortnite?
Fortnite is one of the biggest esports games. The basic version of it is 100 people parachute onto an island and basically shoot at each other until there's only one left. They call that a battle royale. And there was a lot of video games that have versions of that. This has become one of the most popular because it's free and because you can play it on anything from the computer to a game console to your phone.
So this is the first World Cup championship that they've had for Fortnite, right?
And this is, winnowed down from semifinals to finals, and this was the big finale event.
So then how did it work? Because presumably there are people playing all over the world. How did they whittle it down? And did everyone who competed at this level, did they have to be in New York? Were they here? Because you can do this remotely, right?
Yeah, it's true, but everybody was here for this event, especially when you're down to like milliseconds between, actions. You don't want the lag of being on the other end of the planet. And it's a sports event at a stadium, so they bring everybody here. You had 100 people basically sitting in front of computer screens. It's a very odd way to watch a sporting event because you're basically watching the screen anyway.
Right.
You can kind of see the tops of their heads, and they have little pictures of their faces flash in front of their stations. They all look so young.
Yeah.
Were they all like teenagers? Like say the final 10 or whatever?
Well, the big winner was 16. Yeah. They lowered the eligibility age to 13, so you had some really young kids in there. The oldest guy playing, who didn't do all that great, was 24.
The oldest?
He said he was there representing the old dudes.
No!
How do we do that? I play Fortnite.
We're not even, you know what? We're in like the seniors tour, the pro-am or something. we could be in the celebrity pro-am.
I wonder, but see, we're sort of laughing about it, but the reality is that you have seniors tours because some players of physical sports are not in the same physical shape that they were in when they were in their 20s. Come on, dude, my thumbs are still...
No. Once you hit your early 20s, your reaction time and your hand-eye coordination actually starts to slow down, and you really cannot compete at the top level in these games after you're
well, there's also the thing of you actually being an adult and having to go to work and pay bills and not spend all your time training.
I mean,
with your coach.
I just finished playing Injustice 2 on PlayStation 4 this weekend. From start to finish, just took me a day.
See?
I mean,
were you playing against another person?
No, I was playing against the AI.
Okay, see?
Oh, you want me to go multiplayer?
That's right. But find a 16-year-old and then see.
You can't use the easy level and be like, oh, kill the game, kill it.
Come on.
Was not using the easy level. I think it's really fascinating that there are kids that are training for this.
Well, you can, I mean, I don't know if it's still available, but I remember a few years ago there was a university that was offering scholarship money.
Oh, 100% still going on, getting bigger now, and a whole class of professional coaches and trainers. I mean, if you're making $3 million at a tournament, there's going to develop a whole sort of side industry of people connected to that.
Yeah, it's fascinating. Who organized this? Was it Fortnite, the creators of Fortnite?
Yeah, Epic is a big game company, and Fortnite has been their, smash surprise hit. The Fortnite Everybody Plays was just a free add-on to an older game that wasn't doing well, wasn't meant to be anything big, and of course now it's the biggest thing in the world in terms of esports, and other big games like Overwatch are doing it. They had their finals at the Barclays Center last year, so you're going to see more and more of this at big sports stadiums.
So, I was going to say, like, where do you see this going, really? I mean, at some point, I'm presuming you have to like age out of it, not just because your reaction times go down.
100%, yeah, that's true.
I started playing. I'm old enough to have been there when the launch of the Atari console happened in the 70s.
No, but listen,
I've been playing since then.
I love video games too, but I don't have the time. if I had the time, I would play it. Like,
we claim it's part of our job.
Yeah,
it's research for things
Research.
like this segment.
Yeah.
it's all professional. We got to go practice. Although
I don't think you age out. I actually don't think you age out, right? Am I wrong?
No, because it's people who like us who grew up with it. It's now our movies and our TV and just a part of our entertainment diet.
Right.
That said, I probably was the only gray beard I saw at the Fortnite World Cup.
One last question, though. I mean, what I'm curious about is Fortnite being free, the graphics being fairly good, the experience being, kick butt. Does it make sense then going forward that people are going to spend $60, $70, $80 on other games that are coming out that are being released, highly anticipated games? For example, like there's a new Star Wars game coming out in a few weeks. I just saw the list price is going to be $69. Do I want to spend that kind of money? Or do I want more companies to put out free games like Fortnite?
Not just Fortnite, but all the games you play on your phone have moved to what they call a freemium model, where it's free to get, and then you can give them a couple of bucks here and there for add-ons. That's really changed the way a lot of companies develop games, and you do see fewer of those big, gigantic, blockbuster $60 plus games because they're so expensive to make, and it's either a giant hit or it's a flop.
Good point. All right, Dan Ackerman. What's your screen name, man? I'll look for you.
Yeah, he's not going to tell you.
Vlad, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Thanks as always, Dan. Appreciate it. You can learn more about the rapid rise of our esports, in our CBSN Originals Esports. The Price of the Grind, streaming right now at cbsnews.com. We'll be right back.